More troubleshooting, more debugging. That was basically my evening yesterday and my morning today. But I think I've got most things worked out. It seems to be working. I don't have all the settings completed yet. For example, I don't really have anything set for what happens if an obstacle is encountered on either side. He basically just stops in response to that. But we are logging those events and we are able to create stuff. But the whole process of figuring out what to do when and what that triggers next, et cetera, is confusing the heck out of me. So I think what we need to do is really just put ROVer on the ground, let him do his thing, see what works and see what doesn't work, and then go from there. So let's go. Here we are on the command center, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be running our hallway program here. But before we do that, one thing that I know is probably not right is inside the hallway program here, we've got the acceleration, speed, and distance set for both the drive and the reverse once he encounters an obstacle. And of course, we want him to encounter an obstacle so that we can see all this stuff in action. And I've implemented the ability to change this rather than having to delete this command from the program and then re-add it as you've seen in previous episodes. So we'll figure out what distance he needs to reverse back out when he encounters an obstacle in order to make room for himself in order to then be able to make the turn and proceed forward. So we'll see how that comes together. Really, I don't know what to expect. I'm doing this for the first time as well. So what I'm going to do is before we run the program, I'm going to flip the settings for him first so that we're using the turbocharger. So we're going to be running at 24 volts and I'm going to have the forward sensors on. So let's send that over to ROVer. We just heard his relays flip on and I can see the lights to confirm that the 24 volt supercharger is running. And what we'll do then is just run the hallway program. Actually, we need to straighten out his wheels. All wheels straight. So let's run that. And then once he's finished that, we'll run the hallway program. I have ROVer right now set at checking with the web server every 2 seconds for new commands. So he's running a little bit slower than previously in between executing commands, but it seems to be working. I did that because he was experiencing some bugs, and I wasn't sure what the cause was, and I thought maybe he was hitting the web server one too many times. So here he goes. It's a slow progression. Okay, so we definitely have the distance wrong for the first drive. I don't even know what that was set at. I tried adjusting the settings for the drive and distance and acceleration commands, and we gave it another go, but it's basically the same result. So I've tried a few things. I'm really not sure where the flaw is, but let's just give it another try and maybe I can figure out what's going wrong. So this time I'm going to turn the 24 volt supercharger on, forward sensors on. Let's send that over. Here I'm just setting up the drive command with the settings. Let's take a look at the activity feed, see what's happening. Okay, so we can see that one by one he's executing the all wheels straight command, and in a second he's going to start the drive. Hopefully this goes better than the first time.
Side obstacle.
For some reason he's executing the side obstacle alert, and I don't know why. It's a new implementation, so obviously there's a bug somewhere in there, but I haven't really played around with the side sensors yet to figure out why they're not working. But I'm just going to send a all stop command just to clear, and then we'll rerun the hallway program.
Side obstacle.
So clearly I've got problems. ROVer and I have problems. Yeah, I'm glad we tried it, but it looks like the problems have to do with the side sensors. It was a rushed implementation. I just kind of did what I thought was the minimum stuff to do to get them to work. And I did a few tests and they seem to be working, but they're clearly not because they're triggering all sorts of events that need not be triggered. Let me show you in the command center. We are looking at ROVer's activity feed. Fortunately, we have this activity feed to refer to in order to kind of deconstruct what exactly happened, what went wrong, what worked, that sort of thing. It's helped a huge amount to have these logs in a way that's actually theoretically easy to understand. So it started with our settings that we sent over to ROVer in order to turn on the turbocharger and the forward sensors. We then asked him to rotate his wheels wide for forward drive. He then ran through the initial program for the hallway program, and that drive then didn't execute, and the reason for that is here, the left sensor. And I'm not even sure why this is not highlighted. It should be. So there's a few problems. Again, it's because of this side sensor implementation that was rushed. But basically, even though it was the full, I was nowhere near his side, we can see here that it was a side sensor event. He also triggered the forward sensor somehow and the left sensor. And then there's nothing programmed for the left sensor other than to stop and report that it was a left sensor trigger. We then tried it again, but he reported the same sort of thing, the left sensor trigger. He did the emergency stop. We tried to get him to run, but it kept on triggering that left sensor. So we can see here that the right sensor is reporting kind of a number that makes sense. The left is going berserk, so I'm not sure what's wrong there. But that seems to be the cause of all the problems. So I just kind of troubleshoot what's going on with that left sensor. But yeah, at least we got ROVer on the ground and did a few tests, and I've got something specific to work on. So yeah, on to the next bug, I guess. So it definitely seems to be something to do with the left sensor or the right sensor. I do have a whole bunch of ROVer's USB cables still attached to him for the purposes of debugging stuff like this, but it could be that I created my own problem by having one of these cables actually fall in front of one of the sensors. In any case, I've got some more debugging and troubleshooting and testing to do. So we'll try this again tomorrow, hopefully. Subscribe to get notified with the episode once it's posted. Give us a thumbs up, pretty please, even with this. Use the comments down below on YouTube or over on ROVer's site. We'd love to hear from you. And otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.